Hello my lovelies, today's video is going to be the reading vlog for the Feeling My Shelf Book Club Book of the Month for March, and that is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Tojizaku Kawaguchi. The theme for March is magical realism, so this is a Japanese book translated from Japanese, and it is about a coffee shop that allows you to have one trip back into time. Now you're probably wondering what happened to December, January and February reading vlogs. December the book club did run and the theme was historical fiction, so we were reading The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton, and I did read it. The trouble is that my reading got very broken up by having to work over Christmas, and then a whole term's worth of reading for my spring term also interrupted it. So this book took me about 3 months reading it on and off to actually finish, and therefore I had very small clips that didn't really show anything because I wasn't picking it up to vlog whenever I did pick it up, because I was only reading it about a chapter at a time instead of really getting my teeth into it. I really did enjoy this. I gave this 4.5 stars, and I do think it's a great book, and it's a shame that I couldn't finish doing a reading vlog for it because it was just way too broken up by my spring term. But December the book club did run. In January and February, the book club didn't run at all, and that's because Zara is in the same position as me. She is a third year English literature student, so she has a lot going on and a lot of stressful things to deal with. So the book club took a break, since she's the person that runs it, and also a lot of us that join in are also in similar positions as students. So the book club took a break, and now it's March and going into the Easter holidays. We've started up again, and she has picked a smaller book as well, because the books that we've been reading have been quite chunks. Well, not overly massive chunks, but the November book, which was The Witches of New York, was quite a chunky book. I think about 550, and this one was around the 450 mark, so it's nice to get jumped back into something that is a lot more of a casual vibe and is about 220-ish pages. I'm particularly excited about reading Before the Coffee Gets Cold because I have an interest in Japan. Like, my dissertation focuses on Japanese literature around the atomic bomb, and Japanese literature is something that I want to get more into more. I've read books by Japanese authors like Kazuo Ichiguro, but not actually read them from translation into Japanese. I have read Black Rain by Masuji Ibushi, which is one of the novels I'm using for my dissertation, but that's based off memoirs and diary entries, so it's using real life stories and real life events with the atomic bomb. So this is the first fictionalized Japanese novel that I'm reading, and it hopefully won't be the last. So without further ado, please enjoy the vlog. So I've just finished reading the first section of Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and it is split up into 4 different sections instead of 4 chapters for the 4 different stories that it's going to tell. So I've just finished reading The Lovers. I also like that it's sort of like 50-page increments for the different sections, because 50 pages seems to be around what I tend to do in one sitting before I start my day or when I go to bed. I really enjoyed it. There is quite a steady pace to start off with because it's the first time the time travelling happens, so all the rules have to be explained. But the rules themselves, I think, are brilliant. I really like the way the time travelling works in this, because it's not your usual time travelling rules like the butterfly effect. In a sense, it's very much centred around the coffee, which I think is brilliant. And I also really like the sort of ambiguity as to whether has it helped things or has it not. Very, very minor spoiler, but there are ghosts in it, and I was not expecting there to be ghosts, and as soon as I read that section, my interest completely peaked, because it's like, it was steady to get into it. Everything was being explained, the characters are being explained, but I really like that, and the whole dynamic of the way the cafe worked is really interesting, and we're finding out like backstories to the people that are, I'm assuming, are going to be in the cafe throughout, instead of just like the first section focused on Fumiko and her story of time traveling back. And I just really enjoyed it. It was really nicely written. I like the way things are split up, like in that part itself, the way things would be divided would either be by like the cling clang of the doorbell from the cafe, or a little like cup illustration, which is very cute. So I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to see how the next story will unfold. I can't wait to see how to tackle it, whether like we already know the rules, will the person that's coming in know the rules, will it be repetitive or not? I'm not too sure, but I just really enjoyed, one, the rules of how the time traveling works. I thought they were going to be like strict and non-consequential to the story when you first hear what the rules are going to be, but turns out they're pretty good. 2, the ghosts, really like that. And 3, like the ambiguity of how things happen in the past, I really enjoyed that as well. So I'm intrigued to see whether we get a repetition of what's just happened, but with a slightly different storyline, or whether something new is going to happen. So I'm going to carry on reading this, probably get around to reading it tonight. So it's the 23rd of March and I am still working on reading our book club book before the coffee gets cold. Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I've now read the second part. I thought it was going to be repetitive, but they're finding ways to keep the theme going without it just being a repeat of the first story 4 times over. The third part as well, and that started differently by having somebody already gone back in the past from the future and them trying to figure out who it is and why she's there, so it's mixed it up again. It's really frustrated at my reading speed. I've gone from 8 books in January, 9 books in February, to reading not even 100 pages in 2 weeks. And that will be because I'm back home and the coronavirus is obviously shutting down the country in many different ways at the moment, and that is a still escalating situation. So reading is not a top priority, although I always want it to be. So that is frustrating. Oh, and we also adopted 2 cats, so that also takes away some reading time. This is Poppy. Hello, Popsy Pops. Hello, Popsicles. And that in the window there is Louie Lou. That's another thing I'm just wondering about this book as well, is when the cat from the front cover is going to be coming into it, because there is no cat at the moment, but there is a cat there on the front cover. It's just delirium. Yeah, 3rd part in and there is still no cat like there is on the cover. Oh, there are biscuits in your dish. Yeah, I've just finished reading the 3rd part. There's only the 4th part left to go now, and yeah, it's still pretty cute. It's getting a tad repetitive in the way it is, so I've only got about 60 pages left, not even that. No, you can't get up there. No, no, no. So yeah, there's still something that cropped up at the beginning of part 3 that hasn't been resolved yet, so I'm hoping that that will be the 4th part and it's going to end neatly. All my doubts have disappeared under street lights. Never gave a damn about any hard times. I need to read. No. It's just are you gonna let me read? It's just delirium of loneliness. So I've just finished reading Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and yeah, I think overall I'd give it a good 4 stars. There were odd moments where it became repetitive what it did, but it did also try and stop itself from doing so by approaching the time travelling in different angles. The last section, for example, completely reversed how the whole thing works, and it was really emotional at points as well. Although I also can't help but feel like the last section could have been a little bit more satisfactory with what it was doing, but yeah, overall I really enjoyed it. As I said before, the thing I specifically liked about it is the way the rules for the cafe work, and I also really enjoyed the fact that we had regular recurring characters that were continuously in the cafe, and it wasn't just a completely new person each time with a completely new storyline they did interweave. I think the reason why I've dropped it to 4 instead of having it as 5, because it is a cute storyline. It doesn't go too far beyond its own premise. It also has moments where it did repeat itself a little bit, although it did try to avoid it itself, and also because there's a cat on the cover and there isn't a cat at all in this. So yeah, solid 4 stars for the Feeling My Shelf Book Club book for March.